you guys are currently on your tour from here to Mars. How's it been going so far?
Good.
Fantastic so far. It's like probably the 10th or 12th day. We're losing count. Starting to get one of those ruts, right? Trav, what do you have to say about that?
This is our first time in Boston in 2016. So there was a long segment that happened before the interview where we were all getting acquainted, and so that just needs to be said.
Be professional.
And we're all equally going to talk instead of me doing what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
But mostly him.
Yeah. How's the tour going for you, Charles?
It's going great.
And back to you.
So do you guys have any crazy or interesting stories so far?
You just want to say yes at
Crazy.
end of the period?
Yes. A couple for sure. Tap tap.
Alright, you have to. Alright, it's up. You're up. Let's go.
Europe. I love that country. It's amazing. There's a lot of. No, I'm just kidding. Crazy stories on tour. Not really.
This
It's
has been
a
pretty
bit of a
tame.
different vibe. Everybody is either engaged or married except for me.
Why did you assume that she was talking about like sexual like craziness?
Did you not want any sexual answers? Okay, well
No,
let's
it's
pull it
totally
back a little bit. So the other day I ordered pepperoni pizza, but I got sausage, and I was like,
You got Hawaiian.
"What? Come on now!" And that was pretty crazy.
Oh my god.
What he means to say is that the reason that it hasn't been as crazy as possible is because actually on this tour we've been doing so much press, and the drives have been pretty far, with the exception of like last night, just New York to Boston. That was actually our shortest drive of the tour. But if like bus calls directly after the show, then we don't really get in too much trouble.
Just making it laugh.
What about you, Charles?
I don't think it's anything.
He just got engaged before
I
the
just-
tour,
yeah,
so
just
this is his
got-
first tour as an engagement.
Congratulations.
It's very
Show him
true.
that ring.
Wow.
That's where it will
Oh,
go.
right there. Yeah, no, she's coming out in a couple days. I was actually just booking her flight. Did you step in the poop in the front of the bus?
I did.
Is that you?
That was me.
100%?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the most interesting that's
Yeah, when
happened.
you have a story
Yeah.
to tell.
Hold on,
Yeah.
you stepped in
I
poop?
stepped in dog shit today. That's how my day started.
It was literally in front of the bus.
Yeah.
And Duncan and I were saying, Duncan, you thought it was going to be Trav.
I did. I thought Trav was gonna get it.
No, it was me. I won that lotto.
Wait, so you guys knew about it and left it
Just
there?
waited.
What am I going to do?
I didn't know about it. I didn't
That's not my
see it.
job.
I didn't
Warn
see it.
somebody.
Yeah.
What are we going to put caution tape around it?
They just sent out a group text saying, hey, there's dog shit in front of the bus.
I figured
Beware.
somebody
Well,
would
it's
look down.
gone. I picked it all up at the bottom of my food, so we're good. All set.
At least you cleaned it up, right?
Yeah.
I just
If
got
you-
scared.
If you look at it as a glass is half full of shit kind of vibe, that's I picked it up and now it's gone.
Okay, alright.
Can we swear? We'll blurt it
I
out.
think it's a little late now.
Well, you're good.
That's why we were saying poop at first. And so we were like, oh, who stepped in the poop?
Yeah.
The
It's a weird word
pooping.
to say poop. Sorry.
Poopy.
One question down, next one.
Alright, here we go.
We've been really busy with doing college shows, so there are actually shows that we can't announce to people because they're private shows to that college specifically. But
People will
the
show up
fall
anyway.
of 2014, the spring of 15, the fall of 2006, what year are we in? The fall of 2015. So the fall of 14, the spring of 15, the fall of 15. We were literally probably played
On planes all day.
like 100
Yeah.
different
All the time.
campuses, and it was awesome because we actually didn't really get to go to college too much, so we were living vicariously by playing at colleges. Charles went to college. You want to go ahead and tell us about your academic achievements?
Well, there was this time I wasted a lot of money on school.
Cool. And what's that doing for you now?
Exactly. Touche.
What's the lesson learned, kids? Don't waste your money.
Don't go to school. Is this for college?
This is a college show.
College show?
Drop out now. Start a band.
No.
Uh-uh.
I mean, we have a lot of musical theater and music people. So
I love musical theater. We saw Hamilton.
you can't talk
Sorry.
about it yet. You can't talk about it yet. We'll get what is it like getting back out there and headlining for a North American tour?
This is awesome because this is actually different than like our college campus shows because we're able to. You're affecting me. My ADD is now through
I
the
want you guys to
roof.
pay attention to something. It's a subplot of the interview. Look at what the people who aren't speaking are doing. It is incredibly distracting. But we'll go on and continue with the question about whatever. Go ahead,
You
sorry.
don't even know what the question is.
I do know what the question is,
Counting my
and I'll go ahead and answer.
Okay.
So this tour is different because we're able to You can't make noises though, because then I won't be able to like focus. All right,
Alright,
this.
you can do this.
Yes, I'm gonna speak to you.
Yep.
So this tour is different and awesome because we brought out lights and crew and everything like that. So we are putting on this show that is kind of tailor-made for everything that we're playing. So for tonight, for example, there's a giant disco ball and there's a song that we're playing that that I played at my wedding for my wife that I wrote for her. So we're gonna like light up the disco ball and it's gonna like recreate our wedding.
That's amazing. We were just amazed at the disco ball before.
You're married?
It's nice. I am. Yeah, that's what that means. Remember?
What's your name?
Everyone soon.
Her name's Jenny.
What's the song called?
Jenny's song.
Oh,
That's awesome.
That's unique.
Who would have known?
It's very unique.
Perfect
It's
coincidence.
very creative, right?
Right.
I know that you guys just came out with Strange Love, so is it mostly from that album, or are you guys picking and choosing?
We like to do a variety of all 5 of our albums. So for instance, you're going to hear a couple from our debut self-titled album, then from Smile Kid, Sunshine State of Mind, Somewhere Somehow, and Strange Love, all mixed in together, as well as our new hit single. Do we say hit single?
Can we say that yet?
Yeah. Who are you talking to?
The camera.
She's the one that.
Talk to
has
me.
the question.
Okay. Hi. So we like to do a general mix of all 5 of our albums, starting with our self-titled debut album, Smile Kid, I almost did Somewhere Somehow, third, boy, my face has been red. Sunshine State of Mind, Somewhere Somehow, and then Strange Love. It's a nice general mix, as well as our hit single, The Story of Tonight,
Yeah.
which is from a very famous Broadway play called Hamilton.
It's on. It's on.
Alright, we'll get there.
Was that your segue? Because that would
No,
be
no,
nice.
I have more. Especially compared to the first couple, Strange Love is pretty different musically. How would you describe the difference between that music then and the music now that you're producing?
I think we've all wanted to. We kind of decided at the very beginning of things that we never wanted to put the same record out twice. Oh,
I'm sorry.
You want to take that?
Mom?
Mom, I'm in an interview. So I think from the start, when we did decide that, like, hey, none of our records are going to be the same. We wanted to kind of interject different musical adventures into each album. So our first album was very like pop punky, all guitar driven. Our second album, actually, most of it was written on the piano, and it just kind of expanded from there. So it's actually got kind of like a spacey vibe to it. The third album, Sunshine State of Mind, was we started the whole album acoustic, and then like built with drums and bass and guitar, and like kind of built it up that way, so everything could be stripped down to just acoustic and still sound like a great song. Somewhere Somehow, we really spent a lot of time on the lyrics and that side of thing, or that side of the music. I mean, actually, it's probably one of the most requested lyric tattoos that we write out every night when someone's like, "Hey, I want you to write out a lyric from one of your albums," and it's usually Somewhere Somehow, and it's kind of cool because we did spend a lot of time working on the lyrics. And Strange Love, go ahead, you can tell them, it's very rhythmic.
Strange Love, Travis also wrote most of it.
So it's very rhythmic, and we were kind of imagining like what this would sound like live. Like every song that we did, we're like, if we were to play this live, how would it sound?
It is kind of funny that everything starts with an S too.
Yes.
Everything.
Self-titled, Smile Kid,
Technically,
Sunshine.
it's We the Kings though.
No, but it's self-titled.
Self-titled.
Yes, Smile
Self-titled,
Kid,
which would be
Sunshine
We the
State of
Kings.
Mind, Somewhere Somehow, and Strange Love. All of our albums begin with
Not a
that.
technicality. You say like, oh, which We the Kings album are you looking for?
Self-titled.
We the Kings. Oh, well, which one? Oh, the
That's the
self-titled.
artist. The actual title is self-titled.
Okay, so can you tell me why the S?
I think our second album ended up being Smile Kid, and then we're just like, on our third one, we're like, hey, our first 2 albums start with S.
Just for
We
kids?
should just keep going. Yeah, because, well, like when you go back and look
It's
at like,
so much easier to name an album if you get it narrowed into one category of like, okay, it's got to be that, so like that eliminates
Yeah.
all the other letters. Bam.
it is so hard. It's actually, so we're
It's
on
a
the,
lazy thing.
it really is. The From Here to Mars tour, it's always the last thing that we do is name our albums, name the tour, name the song, whatever it is. So,
There's a blizzard outside.
Some have described your beginning sound as more of like an all-American reject kind of sound, and now you're kind of like a wonderful, like great big world kind of sound. Can you kind of, and like to give an example, you go from like Check Yes to Juliet to Love Again. So Can you explain musically what that like difference is in who you guys are?
Well, I think it probably has a lot with what we were listening to at the time of each recording. I know, like, we all try to like shut off our like iPods and anything that would like play music for us, and we wouldn't listen to the radio so that we aren't kind of influenced by other music. But we were fans of all those, bands back when we were writing our first album. So naturally, when we wanted to play music, it did sound like similar to Jimmy Eat World and Blink-182 and All American Rejects and Fall Out Boy fans that we loved listening to. Through the years, like One Republic, they were awesome and just a very great. It's cool music, but it's like it could be hip hop, it could be pop. You really don't know what it is. And Ryan Tedder's such a good writer that I've kind of been influenced by like what he's been writing, not only for One Republic but the stuff that he's done for other bands. So I think that's been a big issue, like not issue, but a big part of why our music has changed. Just being influenced by different people.
I want to talk about the album. So what
I'm gonna give this one to Charles.
Yeah, alright, Charles. What's your favorite song on the album? Strange Love.
I think Love Again, Heaven So Close. We don't get to play it so much live, but Heaven So Close I think is one of my favorite ones.
Yep.
But I think Love Again is right up there.
I'm surprised that Love Again's still one of your favorites now that we have put in place something in the song that is kind of a secret.
Yeah, it's a
something
secret.
we do every night on
That I
tour
loathe.
that you love.
I loathe it because I suck at it so bad. But you're just gonna come to the shows, see what we're talking about.
What?
It's a dance move.
He's not
It's
in
a
on
full
it.
band choreographed dance
You don't
move.
do it. You're too lazy.
He doesn't do it. Charles hates it because
So excited.
It's fun, but I feel Heaven So Close is I think my favorite song on the new album.
That's definitely a jam. I remember playing that in the studio and just playing it over and over and over. Just the groove is fantastic. And I personally love the song Runaway, which was really cool. But
Of course, this would happen during your time, right?
Sounds like Aliens.
that song turned out to be a big sleeper song of the album, and it's really cool how fans have responded to that one. That's like the most viewed on YouTube. That's like one of the most downloaded songs.
This whole thing's gonna be scrapped
And
right here.
every time I talk,
No. Wait.
I can explain.
And then when you
algorithms.
Alright, go.
Science.
Start back up.
Sad Song turned out to be a pretty big sleeper song on the album. It's a big fan favorite. Most viewed on YouTube. Most downloaded.
The sound of this album as a whole is, I think, a lot less aggressive and more soulful. Is there a particular theme or inspiration for this album?
Charles?
Charles, you want to answer this one?
I feel very uncomfortable right now. What's the question?
Okay.
Is there any? There's a lot of passion and aggression.
It's okay.
There what? No, not as much aggression.
Got it.
Oh, not so much aggression? I think it's because he had a child, he found love, he's married, he's happily married, so he's not so angry.
I wrote a lot of the album knowing that my beautiful wife was about to have our first child.
He's typically a very angry individual, so to have this happen
Totally.
in his life, it's completely different.
So yeah, I mean a lot of it was just, I think I guess softer. I'm a softer person.
Yeah, you can confirm that.
I'm all squishy. I gained a lot of baby weight, now I'm all squishy.
Alright, it's your favorite moment. We're going to talk about
Hamilton!
Yeah, we are.
Oh,
Danny,
yes!
Alright, so the song was just released last month, The Story of Tonight. And this is a cover of a Hamilton song.
Great song.
So I think you guys even agree that this is an amazing musical.
Fantastic musical.
Just like
It's great.
sarcastic?
Lynn, no, I loved it.
No, because
Have you
Danny
seen
was
it?
the only one that came with me, so Charles didn't get to go.
I didn't get to go.
see the actual music.
So I'm going to pretend like I didn't see
So
it.
my answer is actually for Charles as well as you. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's
Lin
incredible.
Thank
Manuel
you.
Miranda is like a certified genius.
Thank you.
And just the amount of the depth, the complex characters that
Pageantry.
You didn't watch them grow. You grew with them. And it was just the way the story twisted around and revisited itself, and you know the run-along themes of
Where can I see this?
perseverance, and the story of America. Just what an enchanting,
What's about America?
what an enchanting story.
What an amazing
The
answer.
pageantry.
What an,
Oh.
what an enchanting answer.
Makes sense. Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all come together now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's really incredible. We got to go backstage and meet him afterwards and just kind of say hi. You know, like when you're a fan of an artist,
Oh, now he's like.
when you're a fan of an artist and they end up being really cool people as well, it makes you like a bigger fan. That's what happened with that.
Alright, what about the song made you think it was going to be a good fit for We the Kings?
Oh, I don't know. I think we just
Your answer?
we have so many people chiming. I think we just heard the story of tonight and kind of heard it as like, what is We the King's story? And we were inspired by the story itself, but it kind of like got us thinking inside our own lives and what we have grown to accomplish and what we've been through. And we wanted to inspire our fans to kind of realize and think the same thing of like what they've been through and what they want to leave behind, what's their legacy. The whole play is about Alexander Hamilton's Alexander Hamilton's legacy. So you know, it's kind of like, what does We the Kings want to leave behind? And we want our fans to figure out like what they want to leave behind and inspire them to just live for greatness. You know.
That's a great
Plus,
way.
it was one of the only songs with drinking in it.
That was wonderful. So, how did you guys change the sound from the original? What was the process behind creating this new
You should
sound?
hear the original.
Yeah, the original and our version are very, very different.
Yeah.
I do know that. The Broadway musical is very dramatized and
We have a version.
of what?
Can we check the word dramaticized? Is that real?
Dramatized?
Google?
Dramatized.
Duncan's got to Google that.
Confirm? Okay, not over. Spoilers.
Dramatized.
We'll say spoilers to answer the question.
We're talking to college kids, they'll know whether it's a word or not. But if you don't know it's a word, don't be a jackass. You know what I'm talking about.
Nobody likes to see jackass.
Don't be a jackass like Danny.
Well, he went to college, so he knows.
Oh yeah, Charles.
I went to college.
Yeah.
And
You
is
went
that
to
a
college
word?
too.
Is that a
We're in a
word?
couple semesters.
What'd you
in
say?
Monroe.
I forget what I said now.
Dramatized?
Yeah.
This question has gone off the rails.
Dramatization.
Traumatized.
Dramatization.
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 That's what you were looking for.
Yes.
Okay, so it's dramatized.
Traumatized.
But how is your song? What is
Ours,
your
we try to
song?
make it into like a We the Kings song. It's kind of the sound of it is a collaboration of all 5 of our albums, so it still has like that heavy guitar, but the lyrics are really great. Danny did an awesome drum part. Charles's bass is great.
Thank you.
What was the question? All I would say is listen to the original and listen to ours because you'll be amazed at how different they are. And we started literally just like
That was the question.
Okay, that was the question.
How are they different? And you're
Yeah.
like, go listen to it.
Like, what was your inspiration behind the change? and why
We were just like, we
Oh.
started, we were like, how can we actually even make this a song? Because it was so, it's such a different version that it's hard to make it into anything. So we started with like a couple like piano chords and turned some of the lyrics into like a melody versus like a chant. And it just kind of, one thing went into another, and then we had a song in front of us, and then we repeated a couple things, and it was like, okay, that could be a chorus, that could be a verse, and things like that. So.
A simpler answer would be the whole Broadway is a hip-hop based musical. I don't know if a lot of people knew that. I didn't even know that until like the curtains had opened and they started the first number, which was crazy. So we just took the song that's like a kind of a hip-hop Broadway style version of itself and added like the We the Kings style to it. Like going back to the earlier answer of like pop punk mixed with like, you know, us growing into like a bigger pop sound. We just put that formula to this song. Turned out to be exactly what we wanted.
So what would you say to those people who might think it's like blasphemy to change that song?
Some would say, I feel like it's like covering the Beatles. It's like,
Sorry?
it's
Is
It's
there
like-
anything we can say to change your mind? Probably not.
it's like dangerous territory to. It's the same thing as like covering a Beatles song, but I think the versions are so different that you can't even compare them in the way of like, oh, this is better or worse. It's just, it's a different
I feel like
idea,
we're
and
saying
I
ours
think
is better. I feel like we're just giving the honor to it.
totally
Yeah, paying like respect
like
to
homage
it.
to
Homage.
like,
Homage. Close.
homage.
It's like herbs.
Herbs. So it's more that than it is, but I think musical theater people.
It's a collection of Herberts. Here come the herbs.
I think Broadway theater, and music, college kids, just people that are fans of that can understand like a creative change and understand like a lot of people probably won't think it's blasphemy just because they can understand why somebody would be so inspired that they would want to try their own version of it.
It's real super.
Yeah, but it's cool. I'll never forget that phone call when Travis called me and he's like, I could do this so much better. And he just like started laying down the tracks.
All right, Trav.
I hope that answers your
Take
question.
it down. Take it down
The truth comes out.
No, just to double down on that, it would almost be blasphemy for us to just do the exact version of it, to just literally copy it. It's just a form of us being inspired by the song and adding our own little flair to it and basically singing along with all of you guys.
And also, Lin-Manuel Miranda was a fan of our version when we sent it to him. We're like, we love your play, we love the whole idea, everything. Here's a version of our song, and he was like, this is effing awesome.
Oh yeah, if we're trying to earn the blessing of the super fans, we got his thumbs up and approval, and he's a big fan of the song.
Yeah, and had he not been a fan of the song, we probably wouldn't be talking about it.
True.
So, what have your fans done for you, and how have you guys interacted?
Oh my gosh,
We
so
have
much.
some of the best fans out there. For instance, it is raining, possibly a blizzard outside right now, and they are standing there and have been standing there for probably 17 hours, something like
Bus
that.
rolled up.
It's so long. I think some of them got there before we did.
Yeah.
And they're still standing out there just to change, like maybe where they stand in the show. Like, everybody's gonna get in, but just to be closer, to be a part of the more intimate experience. That's how dedicated we are. It adds a lot to our show and our energy. To show respect to them for being so passionate about it.
Yeah, when you come in and see a crowd like that, it really gets you pumped up. I think a lot of times we buy pizza too. We buy the blind pizza.
Sometimes, well, yeah, there's been a couple times where they've been like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. in the morning, and we're like, oh my gosh, they're gonna stay there until the show, which means they're not gonna eat all day. So we'll order pizza to the front of the line, but we'll pay for it already. So, and while the delivery guy comes, they'll call and be like, are you here? Where are you? And we'll just say, just deliver it to the first person in line. You'll see a line, just deliver it there. And it's always so funny because we watch outside the bus and watch it happen, and they're just like, they're so confused.
I
But
just
it's
realized
it's from We the Kings.
we give them the freedom of doing the tip. I just realized.
No, because the other time, most of the time I put it on the credit card, but
$100.
there was
we
one
don't even
time.
pay for it. We just order it, and then hopefully they get together.
They take care of
So
it.
you guys did that kindness for them.
Yeah,
Making
yeah,
sure they
yeah.
did eat and stuff.
Yeah, most of them are lactose intolerant, can't eat cheese anyway, so.
A lot of times we don't eat, so we'll go into the front of the line.
And then I eat pizza with them.
We eat pizza.
Yeah,
They saved it last. Where we do it last? They actually saved pizza for us.
They did.
It's adorable.
Our fans have done a lot for us.
So, do you guys have any inspirational or motivational words for fans out there who want to do what you guys did and start in high school with
Why
your
does it
best
sound
friends?
like that? Sounds like they're throwing two packages of lunch meat and they're colliding in midair. That's that sound. You hear
Wow,
that?
that's like a really unique way of putting it.
I'm an artist.
That's why.
It's like right in my ear too.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Charles answered the question. Go ahead, Charles.
I feel so uncomfortable right now. Truthfully, I think we've had all at one point somebody say that we should be doing something different in our life. We should be going to school. We should be doing. We should be doing something else. We should be following our dreams and things like that. And we kept with it, And I feel like, if you really want something hard enough and keep pushing, it actually will come through. Come true, whatever it is.
Yeah, it was actually.
And
I always felt like that was like the biggest motivation was wanting to do something and hearing everybody say that you can't do it.
Yeah.
And we were just like dreamers that knew we wanted to be musicians and wanted to play in a band and wanted to go on this journey.
Right.
And you start somewhere and you just start at it. Like there's no one that can tell you, like there's no advice that you can say like here's how you do it. There's no formula or method of doing it. You just
Everyone
you
be
pick
it.
somewhere to start and you just go. And
I'd write a book if I could.
man, how like probably for the past 5 years we didn't even know where we were going or what we were doing. So like it's not even that you know what to even tell somebody to do.
What
You
is
just
it?
kind of start. I don't even know where we are right now.
What's going on?
Denver.
We're in Denver.
So you just start writing music, and eventually, for us, you know, the right people heard it, just because we started playing bars and random, like, we were literally playing bars that we couldn't get into because we were 21.
Hey, what's up?
It's-
We're We the Kings.
We the Kings, Dan and Travis, and you have been watching the Emerson channel. Good morning, Emerson.
Good morning, Emerson.
Yeah.
Channel.
Channel.
Good morning.